From Bengaluru, India. This is the Fiba Women's Asia Cup 2019, and it is the game between host India and Korea. Well, as the main event, the fans still piling into the arena, ready to watch their national team have a go at Korea, one of the traditional powerhouses of Asian women's basketball. Korea had to dig deep yesterday to overcome Chinese Taipei. India, meanwhile, gave their fans a thrill with some outstanding plays throughout, but were never really close to threatening to pull off a win in their first game. So that was against Japan. So here's what we've had today: Australia, Chinese Taipei, and Chinese Taipei falling to Japan. And our last game, we watched China roll to a big win. Now it's the fourth game of the day. Here are the standings in Group A. Japan up top 2-0, Chinese Taipei 0-2, Korea 1-0. We think we're going to see a battle of unbeatens tomorrow with Korea certainly being in that game at 2-0, and we expect India not to make it, but you never know. Surprises happen. So I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Mark Mills. I've talked enough, Mark. You just take over.
Well, for the full 40 minutes, you're done? Is that the way it's going?
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, you'd expect Korea to roll to a victory tonight, but part of the reason we love basketball is it's not always that simple, and we've seen prolonged periods of the underdogs having the upper hand today, and we've seen some exciting basketball alongside that. So we hope that obviously from that side of things that India still are able to put a fight in, but Korea are obviously the favourites, and they're the favourites for a reason. They finished fourth at the last Asia Cup here in Bengaluru as well. They're ranked fourth in Asia as well. So like you said, Jeff, they're really seen as one of the top teams in Asia.
Well, they certainly were not able to feel comfortable during yesterday's win over Chinese Taipei, but it wasn't because of the fact that they weren't executing in terms of getting the shots that the coach wanted. They just couldn't knock them down, and the more shots they missed, the tougher it became. And it wasn't really until the fourth quarter that Korea got on top of Chinese Taipei, and even then they never really put them away. It was only, finally, mercifully, really, I think for both teams, the final buzzer sounded and Korea walked off the court with a 4-point win. Yeah,
and the biggest concern for Korea is going to be the outside shooting, 13.3% from outside. And if I'm sitting on the Indian side of things and I'm Coach Visic, I'm thinking, well, maybe we just lock down the paint. That's our best chance of anything happening in this game. Let's block out any points happening in the paint, and let's play on Korea's weakness from yesterday. Can they beat us from outside? Because maybe based on their shooting yesterday, Korea aren't ready to do that.
How about Geeta for India? She was a real bright spot, I thought, from start to finish. She leads them out onto the court. Here's also Barka Sankar, Steffi Nixon. We're going to see Lamai come out and try to make some big plays tonight.
Yeah, she had a big game yesterday, 11.6 rebounds, but I agree with you with regards to Geeta. She only ended up with 4 points, but whenever she got the ball, you felt like she was going to try and attack the basket or try and make something happen. She wasn't going to be passive in the game. She was going to be a little bit more of an active participant than maybe some of the other Indian players were.
So the final players being introduced here to the crowd. And big moment anytime a national team gets to host a Fiba Women's Asia Cup. And lo and behold, the Indians have done it twice in a row in 2017 and now in 2019. So they'll be looking to make the most of it. Coach Zoran Visic there as well. We're going to have a pause in the commentary for the playing of the national anthems.
please remain standing for the national anthem of Team India.
Okay, national anthems have been played. The blood's boiling, the hairs on the back of the neck. And we are ready to get this thing underway almost. Just under 3 minutes. And as always, we want to get a look at the referees. So they're going to hustle across the court real quick. It's okay, you can go. Well, maybe not. Wait a minute. So they're going to hustle out. They have to be cajoled. So Wang Zibo and Fang Wengjin from China, along with Paul Skayam from Lebanon. And we'll get a look at the rosters of both teams. I'm not sure, is it going to be India first or will it be Korea? Let's have a look. Be Korea. There we go, so I'll let you take it.
Yeah, from Korea's point of view, obviously, Kim Min-jong, 10 points, 8 rebounds in game one. Bae Hae-yun, 9.6 rebounds. But really, anywhere across that roster, there's talent galore. And you'll see a fair bit of heavy rotation from the coaching staff for Korea.
And we think the starting five is going to be, well, here we go. So it'll be Yun Ah, Kang Isul, Park Hae-jin, Kim Min-jong, and Bae Hae-moon. And no surprises there. And for India's or Envisage's team, we've already talked about some of the players like Gita, who played well in Lamai, and Steffi Nixon, you name it. Got some exciting players in this team. Parka Sankar, Steffi Nixon. Banjavia is going to be in the starting five as well. So we are about ready to go. Just under 40 seconds. Remember, this is an Indian team that won promotion from the last FIBA Women's event, the FIBA Women's Asia Cup.
And you can see how much it meant to them when they were having their national anthem and their team being introduced to the crowd. You can see so many smiles on the Indian players' faces. As much as they want to come here and win games, they're just pretty excited to be in Division A right now.
Is the coach, and boy, his patience was tested yesterday, wasn't it? He had to wait, and he'd wait and wait, and I don't think at any time did he ever think that Korea were not going to win that game, but boy, he had to wait before they finally got on top.
Yeah, I imagine the nerves were going up slightly and being stretched slightly towards the back end of the game, but yeah, they did it for him in the end.
Zoran Visic, you know, he's taken on the challenge of coaching India, and again, you do see good spells of play from this team, and it's not like you just snap your fingers and all of a sudden you got a great national team. I mean,
no, it's a program. It's ultimately the entire program that he's come here to build. He needs to, you know, create a national team like they've got that's going to inspire younger generations, and maybe 10, 15 years down the line, you see the profit from that.
Well, good evening, folks. If you are just joining us, India taking on Korea in the last game of day 2 of the Fiba Women's Asia Cup here in Bengaluru, and India. Their fans behind them, all excited, taking on Korea. And Steffi Nixon getting an early touch in the low post, as well as Scaria. And Scaria goes up and scores. She's not messing around, folks. She's going right at him.
She had a good game day 1 as well. 4 points, 4 rebounds. She managed to be one of those players to get herself involved early on.
Kang Lee-sul, who was at the center of everything Korea tried to do in the first half anyway, and did a lot of good things, launches her first attempt from deep and misses. Shot clock down to 5. Lamai, it's go time. She sees the shot clock and launches it from way downtown. She launched that one from New Delhi. Bay gets it over to Kang. Kim back to Kang. Kim with the rebound. Now Bay. Or no, excuse me, that was, anyway, here's India on the counter. Oh, not messing around, going on 4 foot. It was Yum, excuse me, who missed at the other end for Korea.
You're not going to do it easy off a 2 foot. You're going to literally pull back and, yeah, drain the little jumper off 1 foot.
She's like, you guys are too slow. I'm just going to go ahead and take this shot. 1 on 4 from the free throw line. Off 1 foot. Why not? Park Hae-jin. I've got a feeling that Park Hae-jin is just waiting for the big games to arrive, and then she's going to catch fire. Because the law of averages would suggest that eventually these shots are going to fall for her. She's not missing by much.
Yeah, no, she didn't have a scoring night in game day 1. She only had 4 points, but she did grab 9 rebounds. But you do feel that her influence in this Korean team is going to grow as the week goes on.
Kim puts it up, and Kang now, the ball goes off of her hands and out of bounds. We've watched Australia roll to a big win today after overcoming New Zealand. We just watched China roll to a big win over the Philippines, and obviously we watched Japan trail at halftime and then beat Chinese Taipei. Here's Korea now, and I think Kim is going to make this one. Oh, she does not! And hopefully she's okay. She gets up slowly. And India, Scaria, scores in the paint. So they weren't punished for the turnover.
And they're 6-0 up to start the game. What a start for India. And you can hear the excitement in the crowd around us as well. Wonderful start for the home team.
Korea just are the masters of the slow start, much like China in that respect. And Lamai rebounds. Korea get back, and Lee Mong-kyu just watches. Steffi Nixon needs to do better there. She went right at Bay, but just didn't go to her left hand. Here's Kim, and finally gets Korea on the board.
Yeah, scrappy start for Korea. They won't be too happy with it, but it seems to be running in the kind of same vein as the games we've seen today. As much as they've been blowout scores, there's been phases in the games where the underdogs have really taken it to the powerhouse name, and it looks like we've got the same again here.
Steffi Nixon loses it, but Scaria catches it, puts it up, scores, and is fouled.
Scaria up to 6 points already. Unbelievable. She's come to play.
Well, Bay almost forced a turnover from Steffi Nixon. And I'll tell you what, the basketball gods are smiling on India right now. I mean, that should have been a turnover, but the ball went right to Scaria. But again, off the back of the iron for India. So they're not taking full advantage of these opportunities. They will rue that probably later in the game. Park Hae-jin online, still doesn't go. And now they get it to Lamai, who leaks and puts it up. Great start for India.
I love that play by Lamai as well. She's flat out cheated on the defensive end. As soon as the shot guns up, she's leaked out and got a head start in the transition.
Park to Bay. And she is pushed. Now Korea, okay, prohibitive favorites to win this game, and not just by 20 points, probably 40+ points, but they'll be thinking they're and expecting to dig themselves out of this. But against the better teams, you know, they can't afford a slow start.
No, you don't start this slow against some of the bigger teams, because they will kill the game off in the first quarter. You know, they won't let you, they won't give you a chance of coming back into it.
Bay short. Now Lamai gets it. Lamai just looks comfortable with the ball. Look at the pass over to Scaria. She would have brought the house down if that had gone in. Pump fake, and Park gets the foul on Lamai.
Yeah, she bought the fake and jumped into it, and I don't mind the foul from Lamai really, because she's basically saying, I'm not going to give you the free basket. You're going to earn it. You're going to have to take the ball sideline and go again.
Bay dumps it down low to Kim. Korea like to work it around to get the threes, and Park again just continues to struggle. And I suppose Lee Moon-kyu is like, we've got to get her the ball. You know, if we're going to do anything in this tournament, she's going to have to hit that shot. It's a wide open shot.
Yeah, but for me, Korea need to go inside. They're 0 from 5 to start this game.
Scaria drills it, and it's 12-2. Well, India could not have wished for a better start, that's for sure.
And that's 8 points for Scaria now.
Bay gets it down low. Park, Hae-jin, finally! And that's why you keep shooting it. If you're a good shooter, it will eventually go your way. That is obviously not right. She's not 1 of 1, but Scaria looks like she may have gotten hurt. Here it is again, Park Hae-jin.
Yeah, Scaria looks in some serious pain, actually. She's buckled over double as she's gone to the bench. I don't know if it's just winded or what's happened, but that's not great for India. You know, she scored 8 points in this opening phase of the game, and she's gone to the bench injured.
I didn't see that, unfortunately, but yeah, she's definitely out of the game. Here's also the guard checking out, and so some reinforcements here for India. Stephanie Nixon's having a tough time tonight, and here she is turning it over. Boy, she is really struggling. I think Zoran Visic needs to give her a wake-up call. That last three cut the lead to 7. And now Bay gets an easy one. And India looked a little lost defensively on that possession.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think Nixon's just not in the rhythm of this game at all. It's a weird concept, a rhythm of a game, but players are either in it and they're not. And at the moment, Nixon does look like she's really feeling the rhythm. Might be worth making some changes.
Well, Scaria is going to come back in, I think, fortunately. She's waiting to check in. Lamai again. It's just happened a couple of times already. India not getting a good shot. Kim to Yum. Park again. She likes that wing, and there it goes. And this could be the game, really, where she starts to get on track.
And you're exactly right. You know, as much as we criticize 0 from 5, it's so important. If you are a shooter and that's your game, just keep shooting through it until the coach goes, enough, you're coming out of the game. If you're in the game, you're there to shoot the ball. That's what I always tell shooters that have ever played for me.
Sunkar, bounce pass. And Stephanie Nixon this time does get the rebound, but the ball just falls out of her hands. Kim, and she will go to the line for 2 shots.
That's a wonderful pass by Bay as well. She just waited for Kim to make just the right movement, and perfect timing as well, that she feeds her the ball and ultimately enables Kim to draw the foul.
Well, Stephanie Nixon's coming out as we look at the replay. And coming in for India, is it number 11? Did I see, or is it Navanita? So Navanita is in the game now, number 10. Also, Madhu Kumari is in the game. And India give away an offensive rebound off the missed free throw.
And this is the problem they now have. They may have taken Nixon out because she's not playing well, but they are running really small ball now. They don't have any size in their lineup.
And just like that, Korea have come back to take the lead. Pass to Gita. Whoa, what a finish. What a pass. That's good execution by India.
And this is what we were talking about before the game. You know, you raised Gita as one of the kind of players that did, you know, positive work yesterday. And she did. She was trying to be direct and trying to be aggressive on the offensive end. And again, she's come in and she's doing exactly the same again.
And Davia Mahesha comes back into the game as well, number 7. So good job by Gita, puts India back in front with a 3-point play. Gita bounce pass. She knew the double team was there. Skaria puts it up. I'll tell you what, if you're being double teamed, somebody's open.
And Skaria is just red hot right now. That's up to 10 points in under 8 minutes of play here. You know, she's 5 from 6 from the field, and wow, unbelievable. You know, she's really come as a standout player today and a chance to make it a big name for herself here in Bengaluru.
Kang gets it over. There's no need for that foul by Madhu Kumari. And that's what her coach is saying, Zoran Visic. Look at that. What?
She's lucky it's not an unsportsmanlike foul, to be completely
She really
honest with you.
is.
She's not reached for the ball. She's just literally reached a rugby tackle. That's what that was.
You're out on the perimeter, a long way from the basket. If you want to sag, sag. They don't give Park the shot that time. Yum spins. And chance for Skari to get the rebound. She doesn't. Park Hae-jin, another, her third 3-pointer. And she has well and truly heated up now. 3 threes. That's the right. 3 of 7 from 3-point range. Wow. She just turned around and shot it. Madhu Kumari.
I'm not sure India got the memo about this game supposedly being a one-sided affair. I think they missed that memo because they have come out red hot today.
And that was a long 2. So back to 20. I think it's to 18. Final minute of an exciting first half at the FIBA Women's Asia Cup. India, their best quarter of basketball. And a late call on the Koreans and puts India on the line.
And to put this into some kind of perspective of what the first quarter India have had is, in all 4 quarters yesterday, they scored 27 points. They've scored 20 points, including big threes and plays all over the court from so many different players. But in the first quarter, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, that replay was funny because Kumari, you could just see she caught it. She just turned and shot it. She didn't think twice about it.
Which is great. If Coach Visic has been able to put that into her players when they're such underdogs, to have that confidence in themselves, absolutely wonderful. More power to the players when they're in this situation.
And how about Gita making the 2 free throws? Oh, good patience by Korea, getting Bay wide open. Missed assignment.
Yeah, Kang just waited for the defense to double out on her and found the easy pass inside.
And that 3, well, they're lucky to get it back. And going up again, a little bit out of control, but at least India's scrapping for the rebound and tying up Korea. And boy, that was a hard smash on the hardwood. by the Korean Kim. She may have to come out.
Yeah, that was the back of the head bouncing off the hardwood. That's the worst thing when you fall, not being able to stop your head from hitting the hardwood. And
Watch her go. Watch her go down on the replay. Oh, yeah, she really did smash her head. Could be a physical game sometimes. So anyway, timeout with less than 3 seconds to go by India.
Very bizarre. We had this in the last game, though, with 22 seconds, and I said that was a strange decision. And now we're in a situation where they burnt a timeout for literally one offense.
Well, you hope they get a basket out of this.
If they don't, it really is a wasted timeout.
Yeah.
Flat out is a wasted timeout, because I'm not sure what Coach Visic can't wait 2.3 seconds to discuss.
See the shooting numbers. You know, and the rebounding is even. You know what? Okay, you call a timeout, you want to run a play. Maybe he just wants to practice this late situation. Yeah, I mean, yes, he would like to be able to stop the clock later if Korea going to run. Maybe he won't be able to, but he also wants to take a timeout to draw up a play.
Yeah, and scary there with 10 points. But yeah, for me, unless things are going really wrong as a coach, I'm not calling a timeout in the first quarter. I'm not burning one that early, because you have a feeling Korea are going to get a run in this second quarter, and maybe 2 runs. And what are you going to do? You can't, a young team like India needs someone to talk them through it.
You saw those highlights of Scaria there. That's why we wanted to show you she had the 10 points. Oh, Lamai gets it back, puts it up. So, I mean, it was a fair play. I mean, they drew up a play and they got it to Lamai, and she took it. But yeah, I mean, I tend to think that maybe it wasn't the right time to call it. Anyway, India lead 22-20 at the end of the first quarter.
So yeah, here are the shooting stats from that first quarter, and India will be happy to see. Probably the 22 points is the biggest stat they want to see. They only scored 27 in the entire game yesterday, so to have 22 points after 10 minutes and some big performances. No more so than Scaria there. She's up to a game high. Sorry, not quite game high, but a team high 10 points. And thankfully for Korea, on the other end, you've got Park, who is holding her own with 11 points and 3 from 7 for outside. She literally kept shooting until she started hitting some threes, but this certainly isn't going the way the form book would have suggested.
So inspirational play by Scaria has put India into an enviable position, at least certainly a position that nobody expected them to be in front at the end of the first quarter.
And you can almost feel it here in the crowd. There's kind of a we're in front.
What have we just seen?
Yeah, you can almost feel an excitement in the crowd, an unexpected a gift. They've come here to support their team, sure, but I don't think they really thought they'd be in the lead at the end of a quarter, and they are. And I'll be honest, rightfully so. Some of the play they've put on the floor has warranted them, being ahead by 2 at the end of 10.
So now the youngster for Korea has checked in as well. Park Ji-hun, number 9. She's got the ball. Just 19 years of age. And also number 31, Jin An, whose shot bounces over the backboard.
Yeah, both these teams relatively young. Korean team under 26 years of age, the average, and just over 23 years of age for the Indian team. So great to see so many young players getting a taste of international basketball.
Steffi Nixon back in the game, and she got bailed out by the foul there. I mean, she's taking an awfully difficult shot, and I'm not sure what Bay's doing, trying to stop her.
Maybe she just feels sorry for her at that point, and she was like, I'll help you out.
Look at
because
this.
She literally put herself in a position that she, yeah, that's tough.
That's early in the shot clock. You know, pass it back out.
Or establish yourself. Gain a position in the post and go to work and get that body strength to be able to bump and step away and take your hook shot. Yeah, going straight forward against Bay. Bay's helped her out there.
Well, she looked good on the 2 free throws and gets them to go, and puts India back up by 4. And G with the rebound, and really, if Korea continue to shoot the long ones, they're not going to make a lot of them. India just have to rebound. Oh, that was a bump. Gita looking for the foul. She just turns and runs the other way. Park goes to her left, goes up and can't get it to fall.
The confidence that India have taken from that first quarter performance is just rolling over into this second quarter. They look like they're...
Oh, look at Gita get in. Just didn't have enough to finish. Now Korea bring numbers, and Kamara commits the foul. Kamari reaches in and stops the break with that. She's going to come out of the game, and Sakar is going to come back in.
Kamari's done an all right job in just under 5 minutes. She's got her 3 points. She has got 2 fouls, though, which might cost her some time on the floor.
Oh, again, India give away a layup, and in the end, they foul Bay. Not sure how they're getting lost.
Yeah, an issue they've got is obviously that's their key
Steffi,
player.
I think it was Steffi Nixon, for some reason, went out to double team.
And again, it's just naivety. It's just being new to this level of basketball, maybe new to a system or a change that they've had for this game. But yeah, don't want to see that. Scalia picking up her 2nd personal foul as well.
Bay makes the first. Well, if I'm India, as long as Scalia isn't tired, I leave her in the game. I don't care if she gets 4 fouls, because they want to keep it as close
For as long as
they can, for as long as they can.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the key. We've seen it earlier today with coaches of the underdog teams. They get back into the game and then they make rotational changes because they're thinking, well, I need to save some energy for later in the game. Just play the game as if it's the last quarter for the whole game, you know.
Bandavia back in the game. And now a travel on Lamai. Ku, just like against Chinese Taipei, Ku comes out, Ku Sul, and drills a 3. She's perhaps pressing for more playing time. She's come into the game earlier today, in fact. Steffi Nixon.
That's not what Steffi Nixon's on the floor for. She's on the floor to be that banger, that low post player that India are short of.
Park Hae-jin. And then it can't be that Park beats 3 Indians to the loose ball. Ku Sul this time short, but look at Bay hustling, and it's going to get Korea back the ball. I mean, that's probably the worst sequence of play by India in this game.
Yeah, I think so. And you just have a feeling that the tide is turning slightly. Korea is starting to take control of this one a little bit. Obviously, with a 1-point lead, that's going to help with psychology to that. But you also feel that they're just kind of, okay, enough's enough. We need to play our basketball now.
So Sankar fouls Bay from behind. back in the game. Park Hae-jin, here she is, getting open. She puts up more threes from the other side. Kim to Park, here she is. Let's see where she is on that spot. Nope. And Park Ji-hun rebounds it. Now she's got it. Korea are not shy about launching it from deep. Bae to Jin. Again, Park Ji-hun still can't get it to go. Have they got about 5 offensive rebounds on this trip down the floor?
They've got 10 offensive rebounds in the game. Make that 11 now with that one. And, you know, your comment about the three-point shooting, yes, they're shooting better than they did yesterday. They had an absolutely atrocious perimeter shooting performance yesterday, 13.3%. Shooting only 27% today, though. But like you say, if you are a team of shooters and individually you know you're on the court to be a shooter, you've got to keep shooting. You know, that's the only way you get in that rhythm.
Yeah, they didn't hit a 3, I don't think, yesterday until the second half.
Yeah, didn't. You sat there the whole game going, they're going to break through soon. They're going to get that one, and it's going to open the floodgates.
Yeah, it didn't really happen, did it, in the end?
No, it didn't, and they had to scramble their way across the finishing line for the 4-point win.
Jin's free throw is good. So now Korea with a 3-point advantage. So Stephanie Nixon back out of the game. I wonder if she was taken out because she took that shot last time without, like, so early in the shot clock. Well, Bandavia as well takes it early. India not shy about putting it up early in the shot clock. Scaria, what? I think Korea might have been fortunate to get away with no foul call there from behind.
Yeah. It's good to see Scalia, though, continuing to do what she's been doing. That's the way she's got the success. Just go at the basket, go strong, try and draw that contact. But with regards to Dixon, I just don't know. Maybe it's a mental thing. She just doesn't seem to be in the kind of flow of this game.
No, that was a good block by Jin from behind. In fact, we saw the replay. Pass intercepted. Scaria gets it up to Navanita, and now back to Sankar. Three-pointer's good from Bandavia. Just like that, it's tied again.
Only their second 3 of the game.
And Bae is cool as you like. Bae Hae-yoon drives in and puts Korea back in front.
And she's so important to what Korea do. She really is that glue, that kind of player that just does what's needed from her team. Up to 10 points now, 6 rebounds. She's doing it all for them.
Gita explodes to the basket. Boy, if only she could have made that. She would have had a 3-point play opportunity. But she definitely knows how to play the game. Look at that.
She does, and it's that quick first step. It's really that quick first step as we see the corner 3.
From Bandavia.
Yeah, and for Gita, you want to see more of that. You know, if I was Coach Visage, that's what I'd be playing on a little bit. I'd be saying, look, can we set a screen for her? Can we get her open, just slashing from the wing, catching? Because she seems to be having that pace advantage and that initial step advantage over Korea.
India missing some free throws today, but she gets one of them to fall to cut the deficit to 1. Nice cut to the basket. And Park Ji-hun will go to the line for a 3-point play.
She really is one of the exciting prospects for the future of Korean basketball. She seems to play with such a mature head already. She's reading the court really well. She's understanding the spacing of the game. And that's what you usually miss from the younger players. They don't understand how important, even when you've not got the ball, you can be changing the game by spacing the floor. And she seems to be doing it very well.
Well, the Rory Bank Weeby, 19-year-old, gets it to fall. 3-point play from her. And Ji-hun rather, gets in there, takes it away. And the possession arrow goes to India. Watch this contact. Well, I guess
That's tough.
G was stationary.
Yeah, Geeta's look. The issue you've got is Geeta's tried to draw the contact there. She's leant in to try and draw the contact, so it's difficult for an official to say, well, was there any contact, you know, originally?
Referee stops play so Geeta can tie her shoe. Now she's ready. Now they need to hands it off to Bandavia.
They need to move quickly. Shot clock down to 5.
Bandavia, and she gets blocked by number 22, Ku Sul. 2 on the shot clock. Bandavia got open from her favorite spot, but this time was short. And Kusul's pass batted out of bounds by Geeta.
Yeah, Bandavia's body momentum was just taking her away from the basket. She wasn't quite set. She knew she had to catch and shoot quickly, and that's what put her shot off.
And G drives in. Her physicality making a big difference. Biggest lead of the game now for Korea, 6 points. Ku Sul fouls a long way from the perimeter, or from the basket.
And that's because they're scared of that quick step from Geeta now. That's what's happened. They're knowing they're going to have to step quickly. They can't give her that space. It's a strong move by Ku there to the basket.
No, that was G.
Sorry, G.
Yeah, but yeah, and the
Really strong
physicality.
move.
Lamai's been very quiet, in fact, for India. Number 14.
I don't think that will last the full 40 minutes, her being quiet.
Well, here she is, putting up a runner and missing everything. Bandavia reaches up and gets a steal now. Decides to pull up for the jumper.
And I love the confidence that Bandavia has there. It's so early. They've stolen the ball away. They'll have got themselves a fresh shot clock. They could have taken their time and set up, but she's kind of like, no, I've got an open shot. I don't think in the 24 seconds we've got, I'm going to get a better shot than this. So I'm going to take it. And ultimately, that's what your 24 seconds is there for. You need to take the best shot you can get. And she's saying, well, I think this is the best shot we're going to get in 24.
Goran Visic has seen his team play really its best half of basketball. He doesn't want this to open up into a real big lead here for Korea, though, at the end of the half. G makes the first free throw. Mari calls the play over to Bandavia rather, excuse me. Scaria fakes it. We know it's going in. Nope, traveling.
Yeah, she kind of looked the gift horse in the mouth a little bit there. She got given a pretty short-range jumper that was open, but she wanted to try and increase the percentage chances a little bit further, but it was a little bit too much.
Park passes it over to Kim. Now Cool. Now Park Ji-hun. And that's probably a break for India because they've been struggling to get those rebounds. India with 16 rebounds in the game. Korea now with 24, but 11 of those are on the offensive end. Well, Kamari puts up a deep three. And India are taking some desperation shots with plenty of time on the shot clock.
Yeah, and how important is this last stage of the first half for India? You know, we've seen it so many times. The underdogs have kind of, their concentration's almost turned off a couple of minutes too early before the halftime break.
Kusul to G, and G puts it up. It's made a very positive impact since coming in.
Kumari needs to step forward, though. I appreciate she's undersized compared to G, but still needs to step forward and get a hand in the shooter's face.
And the ball goes off of the hands of Bandavia. India called timeout as Korea now look to pad their lead.
And I don't mind this timeout by India at all. I think it's the right one to call at this point. You know, like you said, 2 minutes to go. You don't want to let that lead go further and further. Double digits now. They need to pull it back if they can before the halftime break.
We need to lift a little bit, because we have no place here for overload. So don't swing ball other side.
다운해 이렇게 다 역시 여기 사람들 스크린에 이 크로스에서 나와서 볼 잡으면 오라우스를 쫙 나와. 그다음에 뭐야 패스 게임 하란 말이야. 알겠어?
네.
알아들었지?
네.
어?
돌고 나서. 돌고 나서. 네, 그냥.
지나가란 말이야. 크로스하고 스크린 하면서 나오면서 패스 주고 바깥으로 나가라고. 알았지?
네.
For me, this is a big 2 minutes 11 seconds for India now, because it's going to go one of two ways. They'll either bring it down to single digits or potentially Korea lightly on the back of Park, just shooting the lights out, absolutely deadly early on from outside. And I don't think it'll be the last time we see these highlights. You're going to see more and more probably in the end of this second quarter as well. But a big 2 minutes now for India. Can they stay in this game?
Park Ji-hun drives in and gets a layup. The lead continues to grow now for Korea, up 12. Alarm bells ringing here in Bengaluru for the hosts. Lamai trapped. Can she get out of it? And no, she cannot. She travels.
Yeah, in that situation, she might have been better just trying to bounce the ball off a Korean leg or something, as we see a replay of the strong, strong drive to the basket from Park Ji-hun.
Beautiful bounce pass, and the finish by Kim, who is back on the floor after knocking her head on the floor. And the lead is now 14 points.
And Korea sitting now in almost a 2-1-2, probably a 2-3 zone, but matching up slightly as well.
Scaria this time has it knocked away, leads to another break. And Park goes in and scores with the left hand, and look at that, the lead has ballooned to 16 points.
And she's really taken control of this game now, Park Ji-hun. You know, the last 3 possessions, 2 of them she scored, the other one she created. The young player is really taking hold of the reins of the Korean offense at the moment, and the defense as she steals it away.
Then throws it away into the hands of Lamai, and Bandavia. Scaria crashes the boards. Kim finds Koo. Now Park, that's her spot on the floor, but it was short. And Kim with the rebound. Really starting to dominate in those important areas. The rebounds and the scoring. Good hands from India. Still 2.3 seconds remaining, and this time it's going to be the Korean coach who calls timeout to try to draw up a play. Well, it's not just playing a quarter of basketball. I mean, India know that, but it's just so, you know, it's reinforced. You got to, it's a 40-minute game, and you got to bring it
Yeah, it is. It is. And the second quarter, Korea have outscored India 24-6, and that was more the kind of quarter scores we were expecting from the start of the game. So India had a great first quarter, but they are going to have to string more than 10 minutes together if they're going to get a win here at the Asia Cup.
오케이. 이 사람이 봐. 여기서 이렇게 갔다가 일로 나와. 여기가 너란 말이야. 너구는 여기 서라고. 그렇지? 이렇게 갔다가
There is 2.3 seconds. The ball
Yeah, and a big part of the reason Korea have got back into this one is the rebounding battle, as you saw on the graphic, 18-6. The rebounding battle in this second quarter, and it's pretty much even in the first. So it just shows how important that protection of the paint and, you know, trying to defend not only your own defensive rebounds, but go after some offensive rebounds as well. Really, really critical for both teams. 14 offensive rebounds at the moment for Korea, and India are going to struggle to win games if they don't protect their own boards better.
Well, 2.3 seconds remaining. Park Hae-jin. I wonder if she might get it back. Nope. It's going to be a 3-point attempt from Koo. And Korea do not get it, but nevertheless, very good second quarter for them. And they have a commanding advantage at halftime. 44-28 over India. Well, the 4 of 19, but more than that, the 12 of
quarter, and they outscored them 24-6 in the second quarter. And I think it's the battle of the boards you've got to look at, is where it's come from. You know, 30 rebounds in total for Korea, 15 of them offensive rebounds. Whereas you look at the Indian side of things, they've got 17 rebounds, only 5 offensive rebounds. So for me, the second half, if India want to rally back into this, it's going to come down to controlling the boards. The issue they've got is they are really undersized.
This switch, or just open and cross, you know, but we need to tell.
You give India any chance of getting back into this game?
I think, you know, we've got Scary on the picture as we speak, and 10 points is a good score from her in the first half, but an awful lot, I think, rests on her shoulders. And the other one you obviously want to see is Lamai. She got 11 points in the first game day, and she's kind of been almost silent. Only 2 points, only 5 field goal attempts in that first half, and you expected more from her. And I expect Coach Visic maybe to put the ball in their hands a little bit more and see if they can almost shoot her into some form. That was almost a politician's answer. I didn't answer your question.
Yeah,
I deflected it as best as I could. No, I don't think India have got much of a chance to get back into this, but what they have got is this development. You know, we talked about it before. This is a long-term development for India. You know, promotion to Division A was their first step. Now, realistically, their target surely here
is to survive.
Yeah, it's got to stay in Division A, or at least go out kicking and screaming, you know, as best you can, putting up the best show you can. And the great thing is, like you said, I think this team can look back and go, you know what, that first quarter probably was the best 10 minutes of Indian women's basketball potentially ever.
Well, you know what, if they come out and have the type of success that they had in the first quarter, they can make this a game, and that's what they'll be thinking and looking for. They got to be determined, but you know, it takes 2 to tango, and Korea right now have played much better really after those early struggles, and we'll see if the halftime break has interrupted that momentum, or maybe if India can get some of it back. Second half action underway in Bengaluru between Korea and India, and Jin was a problem for India when she entered the game, and already proving again to be a problem attacking the basket.
Yeah, Nixon straight away picking up the foul. You know, she's had a tough first half, really not in the game, not kind of feeling the game, and start the second half she picks up another foul.
Stephanie Nixon rebounds the second miss. Sankar launches a 3. You never say never.
Yeah, it's a good way to start the second half for them. They only hit 2 in the first half. They're only shooting 22%, so it's a good sign for India.
Kong brings it, brings some rain. Well, she was quiet in the first half.
Yeah, almost silent, her first basket of the game, and she'd only attempted 2 field goals before then, so we expected a huge amount from her before the start of this tournament, and so far not really lived up to that expectation, but still plenty of time left at the Asia Cup. And there's the trading threes on the replay, and India don't want to get into that kind of shootout.
Kong tries to go for back-to-back, and Skaria had her hands on it, but Yum gets it for Korea, so Kong is going to launch another one, and Sankar brings it down. India would love Lamai to get more involved in the offense. There she is, passing it to Skaria, who does a great job of finishing those opportunities down low.
Yeah, wonderful pass from Lamai, you know, almost on cue for you. It is important for India that Lamai comes into this game and takes some form of impact on the offensive end, either as provider or scorer.
Oh, Bay just felt Scaria on her back and just made a professional move, went straight to the basket.
Yeah, she perfectly felt where Scaria's weight was leaning, and it was leaning to push her to the middle, so she obliged and spun quickly.
Scaria again. I think she'd rather bank it in. Now quickly, and that's going to be unsportsmanlike possibly. No, Jin will go back to the line for 2.
Yeah, I think there was a fair bit of contact, but I think Lamai was trying to rip the ball away.
Yeah. Also, she went and helped her up.
That helps your cause. That does help your cause when the officials are contemplating it. What I like to see in this game, as much as we've got a gap, the 17-point lead for Korea, India don't look out of place. There were phases yesterday where you felt, well, they kind of do feel a little bit out of place against Japan. Maybe they're not quite at the level where they can compete, whereas we've seen here today, this feels like a legitimate competitive game that they've got a chance of winning. And, you know, that's a credit to what they're doing, credit to Coach Visic, and hopefully a sign of what's to come for India in the future.
18-point advantage for Korea. Again, they dump it down low to Steffi Nixon, and then she just loses it out of bounds. I mean, they've found an avenue to get points, and Lamai makes the perfect pass, but Steffi Nixon is just having one of those nights.
Yeah, it's tough. No matter how good you are as a player, sometimes it just goes that way. Your brain's not in the game, or something's impacting you, and it just kind of builds as well. That negativity and the drop in confidence grows and grows.
Park Ji-hun goes to the other end and hits a long 2.
Been so impressed by how she's playing tonight. She really has turned up to play.
Sunkar steps back behind the arc, and there for the putback, I think it was Navanita. Was indeed. India does not want to trade baskets, though. They need stops. Park Ji-hun, oh boy. Nice handles.
What a shame. She shook a defender up wonderfully there, but just couldn't quite finish it with the mid-range jumper.
Sunkar makes the pass to Nixon, has it knocked out of her hands. Bay, easy one for Jin. And Coach Visit's really having to go at Steffi Nixon now, imploring her to give the effort. Now another turnover. Park Ji-hun, no-look pass. Oh, and look at Kong finish it. She caught what looked like Lamai's forearm and still made the shot.
Yeah.
And didn't complain. That's my kind of player right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just hard-nosed, going to the basket, going strong. India need to be careful now. They're starting to make rash decisions that are going to blow this game completely apart and really undo the good work they did in those first 10 minutes.
That was the good hands of Lamai. Watch this. No, not on this play, on the previous attempt. That was a good fast break by Korea. But she was able to deflect that ball out of bounds because Korea were going in for another easy one. Now they inbound it. Bay to Jin. Boy, Jin has just been tough.
And it's shown it, you know, she can do that hard-nosed stuff under the basket, battling, you know, throwing elbows and stuff, but she's quite happy to step out and hit a mid-range jumper as well.
Yeah, not for the first time tonight.
Impressive stat line, 14 and 6.
Moldavia misses. And there for the offensive rebound, put back is Bay. And this is now starting to get out of hand. Lamai has it knocked out of her hands, but a foul's called on Jin.
Yeah, 17-7 start for Korea to this third quarter, and India need to put an end to it if they can. Otherwise, this game's going to blow out really wide, really quickly.
Scaria into the captain. Chases down her miss. Raja Priyada Sharni. And Geeta's going to come back in the game. Didn't even realize that she wasn't in. It's almost a surprise, really.
Yeah, and Lamai, again, she's not had the impact she wanted, just the one assist there. And I'm not surprised to see Geeta come back in. She's one of those kind of firecracker players that can come in and maybe change things. She'll put some impetus into their offense, because at the moment it is looking a bit stagnant. And yeah, hopefully for India and the Indian fans here in the arena in Bangalore that she can make that difference.
Korea called the timeout, so we'll listen in.
아니 찬스 났는데 또 잡아 끌고 또 이러지 이런 거 한다. 한 번 이렇게 툭 해서 툭 들어가야지. 네. 봐, 헤지스테이션 한 번 갔다가 쓱 이랬다 툭 들어가야지. 네. 그리고 갔다가 왜 미다웃을 안 해? 네. 그냥 여기서 뒤에 숨어서 언제 슛 쏠 건데? 네. 야 들어가면 23을 해, 너 23만.
We are all the time we are on same line, 5 and 4. So flash on high post. Let's go, ladies.
Hey, come on, come on.
Well, Kong came out firing, Kong Isul, in the second half with this three-pointer. And just kind of kept the good work going. Korea just racing into a 61-35 lead over India. They may be slow starters, but Korea finally shift into a higher gear, and it's happened tonight. But at least Geeta comes back in and scores an impressive reverse layup for India.
And that's exactly what Geeta has done every time she's come on the floor. She brings in that direct, positive, aggressive to the basket style offense, which India lacks sometimes.
Meanwhile, Kim catches it down low and scores. Draws a foul as well.
You talk about the slow start from Korea, and as much as in games like this, you're kind of like, oh, it's okay, we'll find our feet, we'll get back into it. You do worry as they get to the latter stages of this tournament that it's not going to be as forgiving as tonight has been for them, and that they're going to be punished for not being ready the moment that the tip-off goes up.
I think Korea can certainly beat Japan. I don't think they will, but they can. It'll be a good game to watch.
Oh yeah, there's some great games ahead of us in the next few days, that's for sure.
Australia, China, they're going to trade blows. And good stroke. Navanita from the baseline. Good hands. Park Ji-hun, now Kong again, nails it.
You know, for me, Kong's really coming to her own in this second half. But for me, Park Ji-hun has been absolutely phenomenal. And you only have to look at the plus-minus. She's plus-minus 30, leading all players on the plus-minus in Korea's side. When she's on the court, Korea are doing good things.
A friendly little roll there for Shruti Arvind. Bounce pass Bay. Park. Jihyun fouled as she gets into the lane. Fouled by Kumari.
Well, that's a tough foul as well. There's a 3 from Kang, and she's starting to warm up in this second half. And this is, again, the other thing. We've said it through several teams today, but the depth in the Korean roster, you know, we talked during the half-time break. You kind of don't know who's going to turn up and take the lead roles in any of these teams at the moment. I think as we get further into the tournament, you're going to see the superstars rise to the top and demand maybe a little bit more playing time and a little bit more of the ball on the offensive end. But it's great to see so many players turning up big for their countries.
Teams tied up, so the ball will go over to India. Traveling on Gita. So she does put a foot wrong.
Yeah, looks like it. Just 1 foot too wrong there, that's the trouble.
Park thinking about launching it. Kim short, but nobody boxed out Kang. And she puts it up.
Beautiful team offense, though. So unselfish. They're really keen to make sure that whatever shot they take is the best they can. And just moving the ball well. No one holding on to it. No one demanding the shot. Just real team-orientated basketball.
Gita goes in. Her pass back out. Intercepted. So that's 2 consecutive turnovers by Gita. And Coach Vizic decides it's time for her to come out of the game. So Kumari's going to come back in, but before that, we're going to have a moment to wipe up the floor. I think India thinks it's a timeout. Has somebody called timeout? Yes, India has indeed called a timeout. So Korea slow to get to the bench.
You do feel like India have taken a big step forward today, though. As you see a replay of that last foul, Kumari picking up her 4th foul, but you do feel like they've taken a big step forward, not just on the court, but they must have gained confidence. They know that they do have the ability to hang with the bigger teams in this competition. All they need to do is keep stretching how long they can hang with them for. You know, 10 minutes is never going to be enough to win you a game. But the growth path of India, hopefully by the end of the week, you know, we'll be seeing them really challenging.
Defensively, only face cut. Only face cut. Every time they are in front of you. So jump on the ball. Once when she pass, jump on the ball and then bump. Put her behind. Again, help side. All is here. We are looking here. 2 players are here.
자, 11하라 그랬어? 수비 11하야. 이거 하라고. 오케이?
Bay and Jen each with 14 points to lead Korea, but it's a good balanced scoring attack.
Yeah, they've got 5 players in double digits already. You know, it's and you've got to like Bay's effort. 14 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. She just needs to get herself a steal and a block to fill up all the important columns.
Lee Moon-kyu knows tougher games are ahead starting tomorrow with Japan. 71-41. I mean, we were talking about the potential margin of victory that we might have from Korea tonight. And that great start really by India, perhaps going to minimize the damage. I'm not sure they'll look at it like that. Maybe a couple of weeks after the tournament they will.
Yeah, I think when you, in the heat of the moment, you want to win every game, no matter whether you're the underdog, you know, a 50-point underdog or not, you want to win every game. So it's tough in the heat of the moment, but I think if you can have a sensible, objective debrief at the end of the tournament, I think they'll take that first 10 minutes as maybe one of the highlights of their tournament.
Kong short, well, one of the highlights of this women's national team program.
Yeah, and you hope they use it as a bit of a trump card in whatever negotiations potentially they need to make for extra funding or extra facilities or extra support to say, look what we can do with the, you know, what we've got now. Imagine what we could do if we had some investment and some, you know, some further impetus into basketball in India.
Kong is definitely not shy about shooting him in this half and nails another. I think that's 3.
Yeah, 3 from 7 for Kang now.
Kang Yi-sul showing that Kangdu spirit. Now, India sort of running out of ideas offensively. Jin pushes it forward. That one went in and out for Korea. Nice no-look pass from Sankar. Skaria took her time, drew the foul. She knows how to play when she gets it down low.
Yeah, she really does. This will be one of those games I imagine she'll look back with really fond memories. Obviously, she'd have loved the win, but having 12 points already against one of the better teams in Asia, that's a real highlight for her. And you just hope she can build on it. You really do. You hope that she can, you know, 25 years old, still plenty of playing years ahead of her, still plenty of Asia Cups ahead of her. And she hopes this is the start of bigger and better things, not just for herself, but for India as well, I'd imagine.
Sim Sung-yoon goes out for Korea, and Shin comes in. Ji-hun, Shin Ji-hun, she's dribbling the ball and passes it over to Kang. Final seconds ticking off the clock here in the third quarter. Shin into the paint. No-look pass over to Kang. And this time goes up with a mid-ranger. Kang went down looking for a foul that didn't arrive, and then the Indian opponent picked her up. Korea lead at 74-43 over India at the end of 3. Seven threes now for Korea, 20 of 33 inside the arc. That's 61%. And a lot of those good looks. And the offense has just kind of ground to a halt on the other end for India.
Yeah, it has. India will be a lot happy with their offensive production in that third quarter, back to, you know, closer to where they should be. 15 points they scored in that third compared to only 6 that they scored in the second. But their defense continues to deteriorate. Korea pouring in 30 points in just that 10 minutes. And I don't know if that's fatigue or whether it's just the kind of effects of the game getting away from them, but they certainly need to make sure that they lock down the defensive end a little bit more. And again, still giving away plenty of rebounds. They have 26 to their name, but Korea have 39 and 19 offensive rebounds. Just an impressive performance by Korea on the offensive glass. Only 13 second chance points from it, though.
You love that no-look pass, and sure enough, Lamai certainly caught Kang on the forehead there.
Yeah, lucky for a foul not to be called if you're Lamai. She certainly stepped up in this quarter, Kang. She's decided that that was the quarter that she wanted to wake up and welcome the Asia Cup to herself.
Kim Yeon-hee comes in, number 15 for Korea for the first time. Also back in is Koo Sul, number 22, Park Hae-jin, and as we said, Shin Ji-hun running the show, number 4. And that's going to be the easiest basket for Koo Sul's FIBA Women's Asia basket career.
Seems to be her signature move, though, just coming off the bench and scoring straight away. She seems to do it every time she comes on the floor. It's a nice secret weapon to have if you're Coach Lee Mon-kyu.
There's Gita driving and getting fouled. Good direct play. Good things happen.
They just can't give away those easy scores, and it amounts to not a lack of ability from the Indian side. That was just literally a lack of hustle, a lack of effort to rotate and get back down into a defensive position.
Pass batted away. Gita sees the baseline, goes for it, then throws it away again. Had a few turnovers here in the second half, and Jin just continues to pile on the pressure.
Jin's absolutely relentless today. Determined to put in a big performance, and
I thought she
treated well.
I thought she played pretty well yesterday against Chinese Taipei, so don't be surprised if she's getting big minutes.
And not at all. She got 5.6 rebounds. It's just how much offense has gone through her hands is quite impressive. Already at 16 points, chance to put it up to 17 now, and 7 rebounds alongside that. I think you expect her to be one of the battlers on the boards and one of those warriors that's pulling them down, but maybe not so much focus on the offensive end.
And the ball ends up with her, and all of a sudden an unsportsmanlike called in the process.
Great work from the officials as well, because the official that initially called the foul couldn't quite see the full play, so the official nearest us actually helped her out and said no, that wasn't unsportsmanlike. There was no play at the ball in it from this side.
I haven't seen too many unsportsmanlike fouls called.
No, and it's been quite a physical tournament so far. It's not exactly, I haven't seen any team shy away from the physicality.
It has not been a walk in the park.
No, I'm sure there's plenty of icing down of bruises and joints at the end of every game for all of the teams that have featured here.
Probably, let's see, what time do they play tomorrow? Korea and Japan will be a third up.
6, yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably enough time for them to rest up for that huge game against Japan.
Yeah, it is. Japan will get obviously the extra rest, the extra couple of hours, but you'd hope that wouldn't play into it too much.
Koo Sul traveled.
Obviously, India as the host nation, they'll be last up, as they have been all week, as they take on Chinese Taipei tomorrow.
Do you think Korea, who had those 25 points off the Indian turnovers, run a complex offense?
I wouldn't say it's. I think it's one of those. Now, this is what I kind of like about how Korea play the game. They make it as complex as they need to make it. It seems that they have a reasonably straightforward offense when things are flowing well, but then you also feel that they have a few tricks up their sleeves and a few intricate elements to their offense that they can introduce, or a few additional options that they can run through to if they need to get the scores in tough times.
And he makes 1 of 2. Yeah, the reason why I was asking is just because of the, I think it was Koo who was hearing it from the coach, some instructions just spelling out, which way that play was supposed to go. Here's Cool, gets it up to Sim. Over to Kim, back to Sim. Skip pass over to Kusul.
Yeah, with regards to the complexity of offense, what you usually find is, and it's kind of counterproductive, is that the higher the level you go, the more complex options you need in your offense to break down the defense. But the higher the level of the player, the less willing they are to run strict offenses. They want to be given their creativity they feel best, and usually they do perform better. You know, the best players usually perform better when they're given a loose structure to work within, and they're able to make on-the-fly, read and react decisions on the floor.
Well, there is Ku once again, bearing another three. She's done it in each of Korea's games.
Yeah, played only 12 minutes and she's up to 8 points, and it's a wonderful weapon if you're a coach to have coming off the bench, just someone that can come in and is ready to go on the offensive end.
She was crucial against Chinese Taipei. And nice finish. Nice finish from Shruti Arvind.
It was a wonderful drive to the basket. She just, floats down the baseline. And these are the glimmers that India have shown us. It's just stringing it together on that end and then locking down on the defensive end, and particularly the rebounding that they need to focus on.
Good effort getting it back instead of going in to attempt a layup. Kamari puts it up and hits the long jump shot. 5 points for her. Kim seems to not enjoy the contact, Kim, but you have to get used to it.
Yeah, certainly doing this tournament, the stall has been set out early that, you know, post defenders are going to play physical, they're going to body up, they're going to put arms on, and yeah, the quicker you get used to it, and the quicker you work out a way to, you know, utilize your body and your game over that physicality, the more profitable you're going to be offensively. She didn't feature in the first game yesterday, so it's tough. It's tough to come into a game like this and perform straight away, but it's so important. If you want to fight for those minutes, you've got to show that you're not a liability, and going to the line and missing 2 free throws isn't going to give her coach a huge amount of confidence to give her extra minutes.
Another pass that was telegraphed. Kim gets it for Korea. And Lee Moon-kyu wants some execution here late in the game. Kusul, an offensive foul on Kim, the young center.
Yeah, just 23 years old, still learning a trade. And it's quite a steep learning curve when you come in the closing stages of a win in an Asia Cup competition, particularly against a host team who certainly haven't stepped back or bowed down to Korea at all. They've taken it to them toe-to-toe.
Arvind gets down to the baseline. Able to finish with a short jumper.
Arvind's certainly shown that she's got some moves.
Sin races to the other end, though, for Korea. Nobody meets her in the paint. Arvin, wow. But what was the call?
Not sure. It's the baseline official that made the call. I don't know. Was it a 3-second violation potentially?
Yes, it was, I think, on Pana. Well, Arvin has the hot hand. So needs to get another touch next time down. Good hands from Pana. And now foul on Kim. She seems somewhat bemused. She may come out, actually. It hasn't really been a good spell for Kim.
It's actually her 5th foul.
So she's out. Wow. And she's only played
5 minutes.
5 minutes. So
a foul a minute. That reminds me of the first game I played when I was 13 and I played in the men's league. I literally came on for 5 minutes, hacked 5 people and went and sat back down again. It was a disastrous start to my adult career.
It's funny you should say that. The same thing happened to me, though, in my very first basketball game ever.
Wow.
When I was a kid.
And you still fell in love with the game.
Oh, yeah. It's good. The good sign was I was out there to play. I was showing the energy.
Is that what your mum and dad told you? Is that was the polite way they said about your performance? You showed plenty of energy.
Basically just got to calm down. Oh, almost a turnover on Sim. Another nice jump shot for Korea as they look to put the finishing touches on a convincing win.
And this is obviously the second string Korean team, and they continue to play exactly the same way as the first string do. They don't take any time off fundamentally. They're sound, and they continue to punish India for any mistakes they make.
Kang again, and then no box out allows Koo to get in there and score with an easy putback. Hard to know what the Korea coach is going to make of this game. He's standing over there. I guess it's because he just wants to see as much execution as possible.
I think it's great that he's able to run through the rest of the roster. You know, there was a couple of his players didn't manage to get any court time in that scrappy win yesterday. So I think he'll be quite relieved that he's getting a few more minutes under the belts of all his players.
Arvin, whoa, what a tough move that was. And now we're seeing a spell of offensive rebounds, and it leads to a three-pointer for India.
Yeah, great shooting by Kumari.
Kim, and she's punished by Panu rather, who's going to go over and help her up.
It's difficult when you see her in this situation, and I imagine Coach Bisic will look the same. If someone had said to you before a game against Korea, you're going to lose by about 35, you wouldn't be overly upset by that if you could be objective and step back from it, where you're coming from, where they are coming from, their development years compared to yours as a program. And, you know, 35 points, it's not a million miles away from what are considered, you know, to be one of the best teams in Asia. They're ranked 4th in the region, 18th in the world. So only losing by 35 when you're such a young program trying to find your feet is you know, wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing.
Here's Bandavia. Not shy about launching him herself. Oh, good play by Panu to create some space.
That's a great collect as well. That's a tough pass to bring down with one hand. Really a soft touch to control it.
I mean, she's been the better player in the low post tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think she's probably earned herself a few more minutes in their huge game tomorrow.
With under 3 minutes to go, I'd say it's a strong likelihood Korea are going to reach the 100 mark. And now Vanita can't be lackadaisical in there. Sankar catches it after the inbounds and hits another three.
Wonderful shot by Sankar, but even more impressive was the heads up from Panu. Obviously taking the inbound and then handing off and setting the screen in one move. Smart play.
Ooh, the air ball gives the ball back to India. 5 of 16 from deep for India. 8 of 33 for Korea, but yeah, that was nice. You know, you got to guard the inbounder. Sankar's cross-court pass, perhaps a little too difficult to reel in from Bandavia. Kong, will it be another? No. She's hurting her three-point percentage with some of these misses of late.
Yeah, just 3 from 10 now.
Sankar, her pass just a little short. Kamari, and this is what I'm talking about. She has to know that with 10 seconds on the shot clock, and you are, what, 3 meters behind the arc? That's not a good shot.
No, that's an experience thing. She was, it's not even 3 meters. She was almost at the commentary table with us when she put that one
Well,
up.
I didn't want to be too harsh.
But yeah, that's just an experience thing. She needs to read the game more and be a little bit more heads up with the way she's playing the game. But for India, that's part of the process, you know? That's part of the process here. They gain the experience, and you'd hope she makes less and less mistakes as the games go by.
Here's Panu holding off Sim. So she has an idea, at least on the offensive end, how she has to play.
I'm loving what Panu's doing, if I'm honest. You know, she's coming in, she's doing a really good job so far.
She will have earned her curry tonight with this performance, of which there are many curries to choose from, we've discovered.
We have. I think we could be here for a year and not try all the curries.
We have discovered also that the biggest challenge that we're facing is not to eat all of them at one sitting.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge you're losing.
Well, Korea decide they want to get back. Yeah, well, you're not doing too well either, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm not far behind you, that's for sure.
That was a statement of intent to get to 100 by putting Jin back in the game. She scores immediately. Panu. Ooh, takes the contact. Sankar back to Panu, and then a foul on Sim, hustling over there to help out. .7 seconds left, and here was the Jin layup right at the end. She has a nice release, nice bends her knees well there, taking her free throw. She looks comfortable. I don't think she's quite as good on the defensive end. That's where she really needs to work. But anyway, we saw to Kong. She said, we're going to 100 on this shot, but it didn't fall.
Although they had a scare early on, Korea, I imagine, are going to be relatively happy with this. Going to turn out to 35-point win, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, but it's a job done. Another banana skin avoided, as it were. And they've been able to give more minutes to a wider range of players, which is going to be helpful as the tournament progresses.
Kong for three. Good rebound. And Davia hands it back off to Kamari, and maybe they'll try to hold it for one to get some execution. Well, the three-pointer is an air ball, and that's how it finishes. But Korea deprived of the 100 points, and India walk off with, I think, a lot to be proud of tonight. They lose it 97-62 to Korea. Well, are you going to be honest and tell me what you thought Korea would win by tonight before this game?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. I thought that was an off-air conversation we're having. But one thing I would say is, based on what I thought, India have done phenomenally well. I saw this as being potentially a 60-point, maybe more, you know, a win for Korea. And you have to give so much respect for what India did in that first quarter, because it really changed the dynamic of the game. And to be honest, it's not just the first quarter. If you take away the second quarter from this game, it's a really close game, you know. India won the first quarter by 2, and the third quarter they lost by 15. The last quarter they only lost by 4. It's a lot closer game, and it's great to see India growing as you see the huddle in the middle of the court as a program almost in front of your eyes. And the fans are certainly showing some appreciation, and I think they've been pleasantly surprised, the fans here tonight in the arena, and what their home team have done for them.
But also Korea showed what they're made of. They have a kind of a awkward start to the game, maybe the best way to put it, and then they rise to the occasion and get the big win.
Yeah, and you can see from the shooting percentages where Korea have done their damage. Again, it's inside. They've not had the best of nights from outside, only 22%. That's not where they want to be, and 68% from the line is probably not what Korea want to see either. Rebounds-wise, they've dominated the boards, and you know the concern for India is they've given away 25 offensive rebounds. Korea will also be happy with 31 assists. It shows that they're playing great team offense, and they've also protected the ball well with 11 turnovers. And for Korea, it's kind of gone as expected, but maybe with a few more wrinkles than we originally thought.
So you look at the leading point scorers, rebounders, and assists, and this has whet the appetite, I think, for tomorrow's games. We know that India are going to have a tough one, and we know that Korea are going to have a tough one, certainly against Japan. And Jim, with those 21 points, really has kind of, well, you know, not to be disrespectful to India, but it came against India. But she also, Jen, played well yesterday against Chinese Taipei, and kind of brings a different element of the game to Korea, kind of a toughness.
Yeah, it's more of an old school hard-nosed kind of player that's willing to get points any which way you can.
Like that play right there.
Yeah.
Not afraid to take a hit.
And you have a feeling she might be even more important when you're playing a team like Chinese Taipei. Because when you're playing a team like Japan, she's going to have to get in and mix it amongst some of the bigs, because the one thing Japan are good at is they're going to draw fouls off you. So she's going to have to probably play a fair amount of time guarding the likes of Takada, you know, and that's not an easy task. That's going to stretch her abilities on the defensive end, and you wonder, is that going to impact her offensive production? Based on tonight's showing, maybe not. Maybe she's going to be a very influential member of the roster for the rest of this tournament.
So with India, you go with Scaria as your player of the game, the way she performed in that first half?
Well, I think she secured that within about the first 3 minutes of the game. She just came out on fire. She just looked like a woman possessed when she came on the floor, and a wonderful performance. And hopefully she takes an awful lot from that, because she's done that against one of the better teams, you know, in Asia. She's not done that against an easy team. They obviously played Division B last tournament in 2017, but it's a big step up in standard, and Scaria will be happy with having a big performance against a tough team.
And, you know, maybe when it's all said and done, they'll go back and look at the video and say, hey, here's what you did right. You know, maybe here, you know, remember, you've got this much time on the shot clock.
Well, there's plenty of learnings to take for India, that's for sure.
You hit this shot, but maybe that's not the best shot you can take in that situation. You look at Korea, they're always making the extra pass. And but again, that's just experience.
The best teams do. The best teams make it look effortless to get easy shots. You know, that's the absolute key to it. And it's going to get tougher and tougher as this tournament progresses to get the easy shots. You know, tomorrow really is a crunch day for pretty much every team now that we've finished, you know, the second day here. It's battles for who's going to finish top of the group, who's going to exit the tournament and fight for their survival in Division A, and so much to play for tomorrow for every single team now.
So 2 days in the books, and I guess maybe it's too early to make prediction, to give me your prediction for the team that's going to win it. But here's what happened today. Australia rolling to a big win over New Zealand. Japan trailed at halftime, but came back to win big over Chinese Taipei. China, well, they had some issues with the Philippines, but they ended up blowing them out. And finally, Korea finally got the grips with an Indian team that they trailed at the end of the first quarter to come back and win big. So those are the standings. A couple of 2-0 teams will face each other tomorrow, and a couple of 0-2 teams at the bottom of the standings. Take a deep breath. Okay, time to go eat, folks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.